Now that we've talked about what great listening sounds like, let's explore the mindset behind it. Curiosity. Curiosity is the opposite of judgment. It's the opposite of rushing to conclusions, and it's one of the most powerful tools you have in your relationship toolbox. Let me share a story about Anna and Miguel. They've been together for 6 years, and during our first session, Anna told me something heartbreaking. She said, "Sometimes I feel like Miguel is physically present, but emotionally gone." Miguel looked stunned. "What are you talking about? I'm here every night. I take care of the kids. I help with dinner. I'm not out partying." He was checking all the boxes, but Anna didn't feel emotionally connected. So I invited Miguel to take a different approach, one rooted in curiosity. Instead of defending himself, I asked him to say something curious. "Tell me more." He did. And Anna began to cry. She shared how when she's talking to him about her day and he's on his phone or looking distracted, even if he's doing something for the kids or just checking work email, she feels invisible. It's like she's not interesting, like what she's saying doesn't matter. It wasn't about the phone. It wasn't about the chores. It was about feeling valued. Curiosity helped Miguel pause, soften, and truly listen, not to defend himself, but to understand Anna's deeper emotions and show that he's present and that he cares. That's what we want for you too. So now here's a quick tip. Avoid why questions. Why? In conflict, why? Like, why do you do that? Why do you say that? It often sounds like an accusation. Why would you say that? Why do you always do that? They're questions, but again, they sound like accusations. They usually trigger defensiveness. So instead, ask, what was that like for you? Or what are you feeling right now? Or what's the hardest part about this for you? These invite your partner to open up, not shut down. So let me give you an example. One couple I worked with, Nicole and Jordan, were fighting constantly about money. Jordan thought Nicole spent too freely. Nicole thought Jordan was too controlling. But when we paused and got curious, really curious, we discovered something new. Nicole didn't actually love spending. She grew up in a home where everything was restricted. Her dad used money to control her mom. So spending, even small things, felt like freedom. And Jordan? He didn't care about fancy cars or big savings. He just wanted to feel safe. He grew up in a home with a lot of financial instability. Watching his parents fight about bills left him anxious, and it brought a lot of anxiety into his adult life. Suddenly, they weren't attacking each other. They were seeing the younger version of each other. They were connecting with the backstory beneath the behavior. Curiosity helped them get there. So let's do this now. Here's a mini exercise for you. The empathy exchange. One of you will go first. Choose a non-relationship stressor, just something that's in your life that's bothering or overwhelming you. And it could be work or family or a health concern or something you're worried about in the future, anything. The speaker's job is to talk for 2 to 3 minutes just while the listener practices making eye contact, asking at least one open-ended question like, what's been hardest about that for you? And saying things like, tell me more, or what else are you feeling? To continue to help them to open up. The listener should not interrupt, defend, problem solve, insert their own thoughts or feelings, or shift focus. Your job as the listener is just focus on them and help them to open up and sit there with your full presence and empathy without judgment. So after they've opened up, as a listener, you should say something like, what I'm hearing is, summarize a bit, and that makes sense to me, and tell them what about what they're saying makes sense, why it would make sense that they would think that way or feel that way, and then you switch roles. And in the Gottman couples therapy realm, we call this sort of empathy exchange and listening to each other the stress reducing conversation. And in their research, the Gottmans found that couples who do this even 10 minutes a day report feeling closer and more connected, even during busy or stressful seasons of their life. And remember, as a couple, we're not trying to fix each other. You're both complex people and you're always going to have some stressors in your life, but you're building empathy, and empathy is the soil where love grows. So let's move on to how we express our needs clearly without criticism or blame.